The rain fell in silver sheets against the cracked dome of Outpost 9. From the inside, the sky looked like a dull smear of light, fractured by the dome's old alloy supports. Beneath it, among rows of scavenged tech and broken ships, walked Elias Dre, a human salvager, the kind who made his living off the bones of the old wars. Elias had long stopped believing in the myths, the ones that said humanity would rebuild, that peace with the alien colonies would last. The truth was simpler. Survival was all that was left. He had just returned from the wastelands when his scanner picked up a faint heat signature near the edge of the perimeter. At first, he thought it was another drone gone haywire, one of the old sentry units that still roamed the wilds. But the reading pulsed erratically, almost like a heartbeat. Curiosity got the better of him. He loaded his plasma rifle, adjusted his visor, and followed the signal into the storm. The encounter. The figure lay half buried under a collapsed cargo skimmer, its metallic hull twisted and smoking. Lightning flickered overhead, revealing the faint shimmer of blue skin beneath the debris. Elias froze. It wasn't a human. He'd seen aliens before from a distance, during the war when the Valerie came to Earth to negotiate peace. But none had come this far into the wastelands since. Most were gone, retreating to their hidden enclaves beyond the stars. The figure moved, groaning softly. Elias dropped to one knee, pushing aside debris until he uncovered her fully. A young Valerie female, her skin the color of twilight, her hair like strands of silver thread. Her breathing was shallow. One of her wings, small and crystalline, more decorative than functional, was torn. When her eyes opened, they glowed with a faint turquoise light. She flinched at the sight of him, scrambling backward, a sharp, frightened hiss escaping her lips. "Stay away!" she shouted, voice trembling but clear. "Don't touch me." Elias held up both hands. "Easy. You're hurt." "I know what you are," she said, her accent sharp but fluent. "Human. I've seen what your kind does. You destroy. You burn. You take what you want." He stared at her, rain dripping off his visor. "If I wanted to kill you, I wouldn't be talking." She hesitated, eyes darting toward his rifle. Elias slowly set the weapon down on the ground and stepped back. "See. No tricks. Let me help you before the storm buries you." Her breathing was ragged, her gaze flickering between him and the open wasteland. Lightning flashed again, and for a moment, the fear in her eyes softened. Just a fraction. Then finally she nodded. The shelter. Back at his outpost, Elias cleaned her wounds. She refused to give her name at first, watching every move he made as though expecting him to betray her. When he tried to tend to her broken wing, she recoiled. "You don't have to touch it," she said, clutching the delicate limb. "It'll heal." He shrugged and stepped back. "Suit yourself." For hours neither spoke. The only sounds were the hum of the generator and the storm howling outside. Elias busied himself with his tools, pretending not to notice how she kept glancing at the exit, like a caged bird measuring her chance of escape. Finally, she broke the silence. "Why did you save me?" He looked up from his work. "Because you were dying." "That's not an answer." "Maybe it's the only one I've got," he said. "I don't like watching things die." She frowned. "Most humans wouldn't care if it were one of my kind." Elias gave a small, humorless laugh. "Most humans wouldn't have come out here in the first place." She tilted her head, studying him. "You're different. Don't get used to it." Small pause. Then she said quietly, "My name is Kira." Revelations. Over the next few days, Kira's injuries began to heal. The wound on her side closed faster than he expected. Valerie physiology worked differently. something about nanite-enhanced tissue. Still she remained distant. Whenever Elias approached too quickly or made a sudden move, she tensed. He tried to keep things practical. He gave her food, fixed her flight pack, and asked a few cautious questions. Bit by bit, she began to open up. "I wasn't supposed to be here," she said one night, watching the flicker of the heater. "My ship was part of a survey mission. We were observing what was left of Earth's biosphere. Then the human satellites detected us. We tried to escape. I crashed." Elias leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You were spying." "Observing," she corrected. "Your species destroyed so much, and yet, some of your world still lives. I wanted to see it for myself." He smirked. "And how's that going?" She shot him a glare. "You joke, but your kind poisoned your oceans, burned your forests, and still built weapons instead of hope. You left the galaxy no choice but to fear you." "Maybe," he said quietly. "But fear cuts both ways." She frowned. "What do you mean?" He met her gaze. "We feared you too. The Valerie ships appeared in our skies without warning. You had technology we couldn't understand. Some of us thought you came to finish what we started." Her expression softened slightly. "We came to help. Then maybe someone forgot to send that memo to the ones who started the shooting." For the first time, Kira smiled, a small, hesitant thing but real. It vanished just as quickly. "Humans and Valerie can never trust each other," she said. "We're too different." Elias shook his head. "Difference isn't the problem. Fear is. The threat." 2 weeks later, the scanner blared again. Elias rushed to the console. A red marker blinked on the outer grid. A drone, military grade, was sweeping the wasteland. He knew the signature well. Central Command, the last remnants of the human military. He cursed under his breath. If they detected Kira, she'd be taken, or worse. Kira appeared behind him, her eyes narrowing at the display. "They're looking for me." "Yeah," Elias said grimly. "And if they find you here, they'll assume I'm collaborating. Then let me leave." He turned to her. "You won't make it 2 miles in that storm. They'll track your energy signature." "Better me than you," she said. He shook his head. "Not happening." Her wings twitched with agitation. "Why are you doing this? You owe me nothing." "Maybe I don't," Elias said, grabbing his rifle and a pack of EMP grenades. "But I'm not about to hand someone over to die just because it's convenient." Kira stared at him for a long moment, something unreadable in her eyes. Then she said softly, "You're going to get yourself killed." He grinned faintly. Wouldn't be the first time. The standoff, they moved together through the ruins toward the perimeter. The wind howled around them, carrying sand and metal dust. In the distance, the drone spotlight cut through the haze, a cold mechanical eye scanning the terrain. Elias crouched behind a rusted transport hull. "Stay down," he whispered. The drone hovered closer, its sensors sweeping. When the light passed over the wreckage, Elias lobbed an EMP grenade. A flash of blue static burst across the sky, and the drone spiraled out of control, crashing into the sand with a metallic shriek. For a moment, silence. Then, over the comms channel, a voice crackled. "Unidentified signal detected. All units converge." Elias swore. "They've got more coming." Kira grabbed his arm. "You can't fight them all." "I don't need to. Just need to buy you time." He ran back toward the outpost. Kira followed despite his protests. By the time the next wave arrived, 2 hovercrafts bristling with weapons, they were both entrenched behind the generator tower. Bullets tore through the walls. Elias returned fire, the plasma rifle's glow lighting his face. Kira, trembling, extended her hand, and a pulse of shimmering energy erupted from her palm, knocking one hovercraft off balance. It exploded in a burst of flame. Elias stared. "Remind me not to make you angry." Her breathing was ragged. "Valerie biocurrents. I wasn't supposed to use them here. It's forbidden." He smirked. "Guess we're both breaking rules today." The last hovercraft circled around. Elias fired until his rifle overheated. Then a shell struck the generator, sending both of them sprawling. When the smoke cleared, Kira crawled to Elias's side. He was bleeding from a wound in his shoulder, but still conscious. "You have to go," he said weakly. "Take the skimmer, get out of here." "I'm not leaving you." He looked at her, pain in his eyes but also something else, trust. "You said humans destroy everything. Maybe you're right. But not all of us. Some of us still try to fix what's broken. Let me prove it." Tears welled in her eyes. "You already have." The flight Kira dragged him into the skimmer's cockpit and powered up the engines. The vessel sputtered, half fused with salvaged human tech, but it lifted off the ground. The hovercraft's sensors locked on immediately, missiles streaking toward them. Kira clenched her jaw, weaving through the storm clouds. Lightning split the sky as she channeled energy through her palms, creating a shimmering field around the craft. The missiles exploded harmlessly against it. Elias groaned, holding his wound. "Remind me again why you're afraid of us. You seem plenty terrifying yourself." She gave a pained laugh. "Because fear is taught, Elias. From birth, we're told humans can't change. Then maybe it's time someone proved them wrong." They broke through the storm layer into open sky. For the first time, Kira saw Earth from above. Not the ruins or the scars, but the vast stretch of cloud and light over a sleeping ocean. It was beautiful. Below, the hovercrafts lost their signal. They were free. But Elias's condition worsened. His breathing grew shallow. "Kira," he muttered, voice fading. "Don't let them tell you what humans are. See it for yourself." She gripped his hand tightly. "Stay with me." "I'm here," he whispered. "Just tired." The healing she landed the skimmer in an abandoned observatory high in the mountains. There, beneath a cracked glass dome filled with starlight, she worked tirelessly to save him. Using Valerie nanites, she sealed his wound, whispering soft words in her native tongue. Hours passed before he stirred. When he opened his eyes, she was sitting beside him, watching the stars through the broken ceiling. "You're alive," she said softly. He blinked. "Guess you fixed me." "I had to. I couldn't let you die." He smiled faintly. "So much for fearing humans." Kira looked away, her voice trembling. "I don't fear you anymore." Outside, dawn crept over the horizon, painting the ruins of Earth in shades of gold and crimson. Elias struggled to sit up, gazing at the light. "You see that? That's what we used to fight for." She nodded slowly. "Maybe that's what we can fight for again." He turned to her. "You think your people would listen?" "Some might. If they knew not all humans are what the war made them." He reached out, touching her hand gently. "Then maybe you should tell them." She looked at his hand, then at his eyes. "Will you come with me?" He laughed softly. "I don't think your people are ready for me." She smiled, truly smiled this time. They weren't ready for peace either. But that never stopped us from trying. The departure a few days later, Kira repaired her ship. The storm had cleared, and the sky was clear enough for launch. Elias stood on the cliff, watching as she prepared for takeoff. "You sure about this?" he asked. She nodded. "My people need to see what I've seen." Maybe they'll understand. He looked at her one last time. You ever come back, bring better weather with you. She laughed softly. Goodbye, Elias Dre. You showed me what humanity truly is. He raised a hand in farewell. And what's that? She smiled. Flawed, but capable of kindness. The ship's engines flared, lifting her into the air. He watched until the light faded into the clouds. Epilogue. Months later, a transmission reached Outpost 9. The signal was faint but unmistakable, a Valery frequency, encoded with human language. To whoever hears this, the Valery Council has declared the beginning of new peace talks with the surviving human colonies. A single human salvager made this possible. His compassion proved that even in ruin, humanity still carries the spark of hope. Elias sat by the console listening. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to smile. Outside, the sky above the wasteland shimmered with dawn. And far beyond it, among the stars, Kira carried his story. A story of fear overcome, of trust rebuilt, of two souls who met at the edge of a dying world and showed it how to live again.